Hi, my name is Jack, and we're putting this documentary together for the simple reason that we feel it's very important that the public, for the simple reason that we think it's time the public became aware. Hi, my name is Jack, and I'm just taking a few minutes to let you know we're making a documentary. Hi, my name is Jack. It's over 70 years ago that my family came into contact with the teachings of this gentleman, and looking back now in hindsight, I reserve the right to make a judgment call on what I think has happened to our family and many other families right throughout the world as a direct result of an ideology that he started. Back in the 1800s, Taze Russell was one of many sincere people who honestly believed and took verses out of the Bible very seriously. They took it literally. They believed that the end of the world was imminent, and that they were privileged to be able to take this message of doom and gloom and eventual salvation by Jesus Christ and God Himself, take that message to the world. So their motives were right, but the ideology was flawed. And now it's well over 70 years since my family came into contact with the belief system that Mr. Russell started all those years ago. In all fairness to him, he was not a bad man. He meant well, he was sincere, even though his beliefs were wrong. When he passed away, those beliefs, that apocalyptic view of the world, the end times philosophy or ideology, also known as the last days, and then the great cataclysm called Armageddon was going to come down upon mankind and only special few were going to survive. There's no doubt in my mind that every single member of my family who has revolved their life around this ideology that Taze Russell started all those years ago has left them in a very dangerous and precarious state of mind. Every single one of them is neurologically disturbed or affected by this belief system that they still insist on. They struggle to cope with the real world. Abnormal, even unnatural behaviour as a direct result of a belief system that has been ingrained upon them from when they were very young. For me, it started over 70 years ago. I'm now in my early 70s, and my experience in life has taught me some valuable lessons. There are some ideologies out there that are simply dangerous, and I believe this is one of them. Taze Russell himself was a good man. He was sincere, but what he started has left a legacy of disaster amongst many families, millions of families throughout the world. If you enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe. This gives us the incentive to keep producing videos on a variety of subjects for educational purposes. Hope you enjoy the documentary.
31st of October 1916. The First World War was raging in Europe, and here in the United States a lone man was on a mission. He was 64 years of age. He was on his way back to the east coast of America after a long and exhausting public speaking tour. This man started a religious institution or a movement that would have a dramatic effect upon my family in decades to come, well after this man passed away. As his train approached a small town in the northern part of Texas called Pampa, he took ill and suddenly died. His name was Charles Taze Russell. He had an entourage of fellow believers with him when he died, and they accompanied his body back to the west coast of America. He was born in 1852, son of devout Presbyterian parents of Scottish-Irish descent. His father was a wealthy businessman, and Taze Russell was part of that business. His life course was motivated or determined by events beyond his control, and not because of the business world that he would inherit from his father. It was what happened to him in his childhood that changed his perspective in life and his vision for the future. It also changed the life of other people as well. This is him as a young man. He looks troubled to me. Turns out he was. He was having a crisis of faith in God. As a young boy, he was traumatized as a result of the Civil War in America. Death and destruction was all around him. Then at 9 years of age, his mother died. The Civil War was a time of misery for this God-fearing country of America. Young Taze Russell saw this on a regular basis. Whatever happened to the land of the free? And where was God in all of this chaos? Adults struggle to process this, let alone someone at a young age. This was a difficult upbringing for him. There are those who have suggested that he was also undergoing a form of spiritual abuse, perhaps from his deeply religious father or the community around him. The doctrine of hellfire was a tool of control. The notion that you would burn in hell or purgatory as punishment for your sins or for disobedience to parents or not conforming to the rules of the church was a common form of indoctrination. It still is a tool of control today in most religions. Some say it's purely symbolic, others say it's literal. Nevertheless, this doctrine Russell could not understand. How could a God of love, mercy and forgiveness coexist with a barbaric concept such as that? Something was wrong. For Russell, God was now an enigma. As he got older, he now placed himself on a collision course with mainstream religion. This was the start of an idea for him, or a new calling or career for him personally. The timing was right. There was a spiritual, religious vacuum in this God-fearing country of America. Taze Russell was not alone with initiating different thought and spiritual change. There were others in his day that were on a similar path, which eventually gave us the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Mormons, and courtesy of Taze Russell, a group that eventually became Jehovah's Witnesses. There were others as well. The hellfire doctrine that traumatized young Taze Russell motivated him to rebel. For him it was an evil concept, satanic. On that many concur with him. Then there are those who contend that he simply, in time, exchanged one evil concept for another, just as bad, just as evil. Then there are many who believe that he was directed by God himself, God's plan to save the world at a later date. A unique form of prejudice against established religion was adopted by Mr. Russell. The view that other religions were part of Satan's agenda would soon become the dominant teaching in this new organization or religion he created. Pastor Russell, as he liked to be called, did lots of research, and he formed views about God and God's plan for mankind. His view of Zionism is well documented. Zionism is the belief in the return or the reinstatement of a Jewish state in the historical regions of the Middle East, the land of Israel. According to Mr. Russell, the return of the Jewish state, return of Christ, the rapture, the end times, and all the other things supposed to go with it, all somehow work in together in God's agenda to invoke a better world. He became overwhelmed with apocalyptic ideas and searched the Bible for hidden gems of information. The last book of the Bible is all about the apocalypse. Ancients had visions and dreams that were horrific in nature. His obsession with Christ's return, Zionism, the end times or end of the world, was based on a sincere but flawed ideology he pursued. He believed it was his duty to warn the world of God's intent, perhaps a form of Messiah complex. Russell wasn't the first one to become obsessed with this second coming of Christ phenomenon, the end times, last days, Armageddon, the rapture, etc. Someone else already went down that path well before Russell did. Let's go back a few years, shall we? Back to 1855. Taze Russell was just 3 years old.
Just a 40-minute drive down south from here, which this is Shepparton, and back in the mid-1850s, this area, particularly up in the high country, was where the gold rush was. There were little towns popping up everywhere, and people were coming from all parts of the world to take part in the great Australian gold rush. Now, there happened to be a fellow out there by the name of Nelson H. Barber. He was an American, an educated American, and he was out here looking for gold. My question is, what's an American doing out here looking for gold when there was a gold rush in America and they were literally pulling tons of the stuff out of the ground over there in America? Why come out to Australia? Well, that got me thinking. I think I've got the answer to that.
It seems to me that our friend Nelson may have been on the run, not from doing anything illegal, but I think there was a bit of flack back home. Nelson was greatly influenced by this man. His name was William Miller. He was born in 1782, and he convinced Nelson that the return of Christ and all the stuff that went with it was going to happen in 1843. Well, this got Nelson's attention, and he brought the story lock, stock and barrel and told everybody. Well, newsflash, nothing happened in 1843. This was a shock to Nelson. He is really down emotionally and spiritually. That's my opinion as to why he's out here in Australia. He needs to get over this.
Now you're probably wondering what the connection is between old mate Nelson out here in the scrub looking for gold and Taze Russell. Nelson out here is pushing 30. Taze Russell is about 3 years old. But 20 years down the track, they would join up. They would get to know each other, and they would share theological ideas. In fact, a lot of the ideas that Nelson had are also found in the Jehovah's Witness organisation today. It may be altered a little bit, but some of the basics are still there. So this fellow was very influential in helping Taze Russell set up his publishing empire in its early days.
Nelson heads back to America around about 1859. He takes the long way home via Africa, and a chance meeting with a chaplain rekindles his faith in God, the Bible, and also the end times phenomena. The big question is, where did Mr. Russell get his erroneous ideas from? According to him, it was from God himself. But the facts present a different story, and the internet provides some interesting information. His early publications left a clear and undeniable footprint. His connections became apparent. Confirmation is page 1 of his Watchtower magazine. Zionism. Masonic symbols. The Watchtower. That's from the Adventist movement. As to where Mr. Russell would get his information from, it would seem anywhere. Here is a comment found in the Watchtower magazine 1879. This is the July edition, volume 1, and it contains this quote from Mr. Russell. "We should learn to love and value truth for its own namesake, to respect and honour it wherever we find it, and by whomever presents it. Truth presented by Satan himself is just as true as if stated by God himself." End of quote. Well, I have a slight problem with that comment. A dream or a vision that someone had a few thousand years ago, and then interpreted by someone else who claims to have a special connection with God, is not a good foundation to base your beliefs on or revolve your life around. And yet as we speak, that is what millions of people are still doing. Pyramidology is the belief that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has encoded within it predictions. For example, the Jewish Exodus out of Egypt. Another is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, the start of World War I, the founding of modern-day Israel in 1948, future events like the War of Armageddon or the end of the world as we know it. These are all based on the size of the pyramid, where 1 British inch equals 1 solar year. Just add a dose of creative thinking, and there you have the answer to all things important. All these ideas were influential within that creative mind of Taze Russell and his obsession. Barbara and Russell eventually team up and produce written material. It would seem some people never learn. Predictions and dates are made, and as usual it's a failure. Their partnership was short-lived due to doctrinal differences, and they part company. Russell now has full control of the organisation. The addiction to prediction continues. Taze Russell now makes the doozy of them all. This is the prediction of 1914, the mother of all predictions. One needs to go back and read the actual publications and the writings that Taze Russell made to get a clear understanding of what was going through his mind. Well, good news, people. Lots of lives were now saved. Everything Taze Russell said that was going to happen did not happen. Wait a minute. Something did happen. World War I, the Great War. This Great War was agitating for a long time. The arrogance of rulers who simply got it wrong, driven by greed, control, territorial boundaries, historical tension between ethnic groups, nationalism, and a healthy dose of religion. All these components put together start and fuel wars, as is the case with this one. Let's be clear. This event was not planned by God, part of God's timetable, delivered in a dream to a Bible character a few thousand years ago, then somehow installed into Taze Russell's mind and correctly interpreted by him, and then presenting this theological timetable given to him by God to the world as God's special soul messenger. Resentment for Mr. Russell and his failed prediction grows, and many followers leave. If only he could go back in time and alter his rhetoric. The clock literally stops for him on October 31, 1916. another victim of a delusional concept and some would say spiritual abuse. My view of him is of a man who had a strong belief in God. He also had an abnormal belief concept that took over his mind and controlled his life. Some would say a classic case of a hijacked mind. Mr. Russell is now deceased and laid to rest at the United Cemeteries, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The organisation he created continues. So does the obsession with the end times, Christ's return, Armageddon, doomsday predictions and the like. America has given so much to the world. Entertainment, technology. It has come to the aid of many smaller nations during times of international conflict, natural disasters and oppression. And yet it has used its highly developed marketing skills to control and manipulate its own people and millions worldwide when it comes to matters of faith. This particular group, started by Taze Russell, has evolved into a high-control religious order, demanding total allegiance and obedience to its directives, even if it seems illogical or doesn't make sense to you personally. And just recently it's reported someone within said even if it's dangerous. That is unacceptable.
As much as I can hold, I'm born